For most, life is defined by a relentless, uncertain grind. We move from one task to the next, driven by the knowledge that if we stop, the resources we rely on might stop too. This pressure is constant for a rat living on the edge of a village. He survives on what he can find in the moment. A few stray grains one night, nothing at all the next. He is lean, fast, and always alert. While scouting an old farmhouse, he picks up the scent of fresh rice. It leads him to a large wooden box with the lid slightly ajar, just wide enough for a small body to squeeze through. As he reaches the edge, he loses his footing. He tumbles through the gap, falling through the darkness until he hits a soft, shifting surface. In an instant, the world changes. The immediate need to find a way out is suddenly competing with the physical reality of what he landed on. Enough food to last for months. The rat's first instinct is escape. He scrambles against the wooden walls, his claws scratching at the smooth surface. But the height is too great, and he slides back into the rice with every attempt. He eventually stops to rest. As his heart rate slows, he realizes he is no longer hungry. For the first time in his life, he is sitting on top of a surplus he could never have imagined. The tension that once kept him moving begins to dissolve. The struggle of the outside world, the cats, the weather, the empty nights, feels suddenly distant. He spends the next several days in a cycle of total ease. He eats until he is full, sleeps in the warmth of the grain, and wakes up to find his food source hasn't moved an inch. From his perspective, he has achieved the ultimate goal. He is safe, fed, and sheltered. But as he settles in, the question remains whether he has found a kingdom or just a very comfortable cage. Days turn into a routine. There are no predators to outrun and no miles to cover. The rat no longer needs to use his muscles or his wits. He only needs to exist. His body begins to change. Without the daily demand of the hunt, he grows heavier and slower. The sharp reflexes that kept him alive in the farmhouse rafters begin to dull. While he eats, the environment shifts. With every meal, he lowers the rice and the floor he stands on. One morning, he realizes the top is still within reach. A single jump could take him back to the outside world. This is his window of opportunity. He has the strength to leave, and the path is still open. But he stands on a mountain of food that makes the effort of leaving seem unnecessary. He looks at the opening, then looks at the weeks of food remaining beneath his feet. He tells himself there is no rush. He will make the jump tomorrow. The immediate satisfaction of the next meal carries more weight than the abstract need for freedom. Why face the cold and the hunger today when he could stay here and eat for one more day? Tomorrow becomes a recurring promise. Each day he wakes up, the exit is slightly higher and he is slightly heavier. Yet the abundance of rice makes the situation feel perfectly stable. This is a mathematical certainty. This chart shows the relationship between his remaining resources and the energy required to get out. As the rice disappears, the effort needed to reach the top climbs higher and higher. The resource that provides his security is the same thing that is actively removing his ability to escape. He is consuming his own stairs, unaware that his safety net is actually his prison wall. The day finally comes when the rat's teeth hit the wooden floor. The rice is gone. He looks up, but the opening that once seemed so close is now a distant square of light high above his head. The walls are smooth and reach far beyond his height. He jumps with everything he has left, but his body is too heavy from weeks of stillness. He fails to reach the edge and collapses back into the shadows. When the farmer returns the next morning to clean the box, he finds a weak, exhausted rat trapped at the bottom, unable to move. The trap worked because it didn't look like a trap. The rat chose to stay until the choice was no longer his to make. We see this pattern in our own lives. The dead-end job that pays just enough to keep us from looking for a better one, or the routine that is easy to follow but leads nowhere. We delay our goals because the current moment feels safe enough. We tell ourselves we'll start the project or learn the skill when the time is right, while we consume our days in digital distractions. Rest is necessary, but a life built entirely around staying comfortable is a life that has stopped moving. Progress requires us to step toward the uncertainty of the exit while we still have the strength to make the leap. The greatest threat to our future isn't the risk of failing, it's the ease of staying exactly where we are. Jump while the rice is still under your feet.